All right, let's get into it. Hello, hi everyone. It's been so long. I've missed you so. I hope everyone's having a lovely, lovely Wednesday, and a lovely last couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen you, but man, you'll start seeing me more often in a little bit because it is the summer now, and I feel like there's something coming out like every day for the next couple of months. So it's going to be packed with content. But today is not about all that other content. Today, my friends, is about Obi Wan Kenobi, the show on Disney Plus. Um, it seems like most of you guys are all caught up now. They are releasing it a little bit earlier, which is nice for some of you East Coast people, so you can actually like watch it at a semi reasonable time. Um, what was I? What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Anyways, like always, I'm a little bit rusty and we're coming back into it. Let's just go. Let's just hit the ground running. Yeah. So going into this show, because I had waited. I think I waited till like episode 3 before I even saw it because I was like out of town, and I was out of town in a place where I literally got zero reception. So I came back and watched them all in one go. And before I'd watched it, I had read and heard that there were some like mediocre reviews for it. So, I steeled myself, right? I've been burned before. As you all know, I'm honestly not a really big fan of any of the Star Wars shows so far. Like, none of them have really done it for me, so I didn't really have high expectations for this. And then, I gotta say, you guys, that first episode came really, really hard. And I was like I was very pleasantly surprised. And maybe it's because I did go into it with no expectations, or I'm just like a simp. I don't know. But when, for starting from like chronologically the very beginning when they did that recap, I I mean, I don't I think some of you guys saw my Instagram story, but I was like crying. Just I don't know. Me and my family have been like a real that love Star Wars ever since we were little kids. And, I've always viewed the whole Star Wars from episodes 1 to 6 as like the fall of Anakin Skywalker. And I think it's very, very sad, and it's very, very tragic, and it really gets me in the feels. And, God, that classic line where he's like, "You are the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the Force." And I'm just like, I was crying watching it. And I was like, oh my God, Daryn, you little bitch. You've literally watched this 700 times. This is like the opposite of new information, whatever this is, and you're still crying over the shit. And yes, I am. But I also thought it was a really good move to do that recap in the before the show started to kind of catch everybody up, because they're, working with source material from like the prequels, which have not come out in like a decade, more than a decade, because I saw episode 3 when I was in middle school, and I'm going to be 30. So it's been more than a decade. And because, one of my gripes with the Star Wars shows, literally all of the Star Wars shows, is that if you are not a fan of Star Wars, you wouldn't give two shits about it. Like, you would have no idea what's going on, and you wouldn't have any emotional allegiance to anything that was going on. And I still think that's kind of true for this show, but I think it really did a good job of at least making it watchable and interesting to a total normie audience, which is like a show should be able to stand on its own two legs. So just giving that, and it was a great recap. It was very stirring, very moving. And so I thought that was a really, really good choice. And then when the first episode, just in general, was probably the best so far. I'll probably wait till the end to talk about episode 4. I'll probably get my thoughts on the show overall, and then talk about some of the characters, and then maybe get into the individual episodes like at the end. But episode 1 is still definitely the strongest. And, to its credit, and to Deborah Chow's credit, that is you need to start a show off with a bang, because it does a lot for audience buy-in. Because even as the later episodes have been less than impressive, I still know what this show is like capable of, and I still have hope, and there's potential, and there is hope that it will redeem itself, that maybe it just like faltered in the middle a little bit, but it's because it started out so strong that I'm even on board. I'm actually looking forward to each episode each week. And, I always use that as kind of like my barometer for like if a show is interesting or not, like if I care about what happens next week. And I was like so amped for the episode last night, and like so sad when I watch it. We'll get into that later. Anyways, Starting with the man himself, Mr. Ewan McGregor. Obviously, superstar, doesn't even need to be said. This guy is like an A-list, award-winning, world-renowned, accomplished actor. Like, you know, hot take, Ewan McGregor is a superstar. What can't he do? I mean, he can even sing. Oh my god, if anyone has ever watched Moulin Rouge, he is so cute with his cute little beautiful voice in that movie. He's just he's got real leading man chops, and he does a great job in this show. You know, we come on to Obi-Wan as a broken man, as he fucking would be. You know, he had a direct hand in the fall of the Empire. His like brothers, best friends, like family connection, totally destroyed himself and destroyed everything he knew and everything he loved. Like, everything is burned to shit. Like, I mean, and there's a lot of great lines in this show, but one of them where he's just like, the war is over, we lost. Like, he is a broken man. And I think that was an interesting character choice, and I'm into it so far. And I think Ewan McGregor's pulling it off. This beard is also looking nice. I like the look. We start off on Tatooine. Good old Tatooine. We just can't get away from Tatooine, can we? We're just going to be there for the rest of our Star Wars lives. Got to always make one stop in Tatooine. You know, you just like can't get away from that sand. I hate sand. But we did. I mean, I can't say that I was like thrilled to go back to Tatooine. I mean, I would love to see something else, but it's like you got to go back. You know, that's where he is. What even happened in that first episode? Okay, yeah. So we have him, Sad Boy Club, slicing meat. Okay, Jedi gets caught. It was that like Benny Safdie guy. Throwaway comment. Very disappointed in his like weird side character. He's a good actor. I don't really know what that was. It was a very uncompelling scene between him and Obi-Wan in the beginning. I was not impressed. But then you have the Inquisitors come. They're hunting Jedi. That I was like, I didn't hate it. It was very run of the mill, very, you know, mustache twirly, classic Star Wars villain evil. But that's the Star Wars brand. It's very made for kids in the way that like everything is very black and white, and there's not a lot of nuance there. Even though I don't like that, but yeah, it's very unnuanced evil Inquisitors. You know, I thought the Inquisitors looked great. God, I can't remember the names of the two dudes who played the Grand Inquisitor and the fifth brother. I can't remember their names. They did great. I loved their delivery. I loved their voices. I loved that they lend a little bit of like vocal performance to this. I thought they were really great. Had a great vibe. Then we met Riva, who is I know that's what they're alluding to, but I even just like got it from the first opening scene when they showed like the Jedi younglings in the temple. I was like, oh, obviously that's her. We get to meet her. Gotta say, not super impressed with Riva so far. I do not give a fuck about her character at all. I mean, like I just said, like all the Inquisitors were very run-of-the-mill bad guy villain with not a lot of nuance. Her character has no nuance at all. I mean, I guess they're kind of introducing it, but they're focusing a lot on her as an antagonist. And even though they're focusing a lot on her as an antagonist, they're not really like giving her anything. They're not giving her any reason, any motivation, any like moments to shine or like to react to anything or to like give credence to like her like worldview or how she interacts with people. She's just a one-dimensional boring villain, and I'm not like loving the choices that that Moses Ingram is making with the character. But I don't really like making. There's still 2 episodes left, and I have I have an inkling, obviously, that they're going to be like, oh, she was once a Jedi, that's why she blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like, I think we can all see that coming from a mile away. So maybe the choices she's making has to do with how the show is going to end. I mean, I've talked about it a lot on the show before. I like to give the show some time to breathe before saying I thoroughly disliked it. But, you know, they got a lot to make up for because so far it doesn't make any sense. She's just like not very believable. She's not very stirring, and it's like very weird to me because she was like, I know she's a good actress. I saw her in Queen's Gambit. Like, she's great. Like, I know that she can act, and I've seen her do really well. And like, I don't understand. I guess I don't understand it. I truly don't understand what's going on here. I'm like, the very poor choices character wise and acting wise. And I don't know. I hope it rounds its way out, because we're spending a lot of time with her, and I'm not getting a lot. Rupert Fried and Sung Kang. Those are the two dudes that do the Inquisitor stuff. But yeah, so how did episode 1? We meet Leia in episode 1. I can't even remember, but we'll just move on to that. Then we get kind of, the emotional plot crux of the episode, which is little Leia Organa. Oh my god, you guys. What is her name? Her name is Leia. I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, Vivian Blair. You guys, this girl is too stinking cute for words. Like, I can't handle how awesome I am fully in love, fully bought in. She is a big reason why I am liking this show so far. But man, oh man, not only is she adorable, I am like stunned. I am stunned by the acting chops and the performance that this little girl is delivering. She is like a show stealer for sure. Like, I can't believe it. Like, she's just so usually, like, when you have a character reprising a very like famous character, and not just one from a book, like one that another actor has left their own personal stamp on, you always got to walk that fine line of doing like a full-on impression, or doing like a nuanced, interpretation of them, where you could see that being the character at one point, and who they will be, when you or like whenever the original thing happened. Hold on, burp. And my god, like, I think it's really beautiful the way that she has captured Carrie Fisher's Leia portrayal of Leia, because the spirit that Carrie Fisher put into Leia, I feel like, is, ingrained with a lot of her personal spirit. She was very young when she got that role, and so I think there's a lot of Carrie Fisher in Leia, and the way that this little girl, this Vivian Blair, was able to capture the nuance of Carrie Fisher is on it. It's really beautiful. Like, it's really sweet, because Carrie Fisher's just like a queen. I'm so sad that she's gone. I'm literally getting emotional thinking about it. But yeah, because it's just like, Leia, because I'm not gonna lie, with really precocious children characters in TVs and movies, it's very hit or miss for me, right? Like, because that's the way that TV and movies always write children. They write them like little adults interacting in an adult world with these adult thoughts and these like adult monologues, and it's sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't make any fucking sense, and you're like, what is this little, like, it does, it's like no kid in the world has ever talked like that. But it does make sense as this force sensitive, strong, bullheaded girl would be a little bit precocious, have a greater connection and insight in how to like interact and how to read people. And just that flavor of like sassiness, but endearing adorableness that you just like can't stay mad at, but you also can't force her to do what she doesn't want to do. Like, that bitch is gonna do what she wants to do, and she's like funny and she's sassy and she's charming. Like, she just captured all of that, and I think it's so awesome, and I'm really impressed with her. I think she's so stinking cute, and I love her. I think she's got a very very long and fruitful career ahead of her. But yeah, so we get Leia. What does she do? She talks shit to her cousin. That was fine. The writing has been okay. Like, some parts are really good, and then some parts are, nothing special, very cookie cutter. It's almost like the AI that did James Earl Jones' voice is also writing this show. But Leia and her parents are cute. whatever, she gets kidnapped by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I swear to God, I had to like pause the show and I'm like, I know that face. Where have I seen that face? And I was like, oh shit, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Which is also an interesting choice. Whatever. She gets kidnapped. Then we go to what happens next? Oh yes, then Senator Organa comes to Tatooine. They be threatening people and shit. Luke's uncle doesn't want him to come anywhere near him, which I mean, can't blame him. And like this guy, like it's funny because the guy who plays Luke's uncle, I can't remember his name right now, but like he was such a up and coming actor when they first made those movies, and now he's like he's so accomplished, and they're like making him do this like 2-second cameo. Good for him. I love that he knows how to come back to his roots and appreciate it. It's very sweet. But yeah, the whole like PTSD with Obi Wan. Yes, that's what happened. I was a little bit bored of Tatooine, like space setting wise, I guess you could say. Like the setting, I mean, it's just been done so many times and you've seen that sand so many times. I thought the costume design, actually, I always love the costume design on Tatooine, the way they're like able to integrate like 70s design with like natural, almost like Eastern fabrics, like in textures with like a futuristic, like I always notice like what like all the civilians and stuff are wearing in the background. So I did like the costume design for Tatooine. We did have like Reva threatening people again. Yeah, that was just like one of those times where I'm like, I do not believe you, girl. You are not a good villain. Like I'm not. And like, again, that's what I'm like, there might be a personal choice because she's not really a villain because she used to be a Jedi. So we might see that later, but it's just not very believable, not very menacing at all. And then we go to that one trash planet, that outer, I can't remember the name of it. I'm doing great with these names, you guys. Actually, I really liked that planet. I always love seeing a new planet. I love seeing a new set. And so I felt like the movement in that setting was a little bit better because now I'm like thinking back to oh my god, can't I remember Leia's home planet's name right now? Oh my god, someone like help me with this brain fart. But Leia's home planet, I was like, did anyone else feel like that was really weird? Like I do feel like there's a lot of like glaring moments in this show that feels like they're on a really, really tight budget and they're really, really strapped for cash because the sets feel like they're like in a 20 by 20 box. Like her running through that forest was such a weird, I don't know, it was just like such a weird movement and like framing of the shot, and it felt so limited, and it I don't know, it felt really, really weird. And it's like, if you guys don't have the money for these, maybe stop putting out so many shitty shows and like invest more in some like really good shows. But I was definitely feeling Alderaan. Oh my god, thank you, Dr. Random. Jesus Christ. I felt like the sets were also very hit or miss. I think that's the main theme of this show. Yeah, Justin Simone for sure. They made Alderaan feel very, very small. It just like felt like the first season of like a network television show where they haven't quite got the funding yet, but they're just like making it work. It's like Schitt's Creek where there's like 3 sets and they're just like, stay within these bounds. It's like how it felt on Alderaan. So we got to the other planet. It was a little more lively. There's a little more color. There's a little more movement. I was like, okay, all right, cool. I'm back in it. I'm back in the world. I'm back to the exploration. Super fun stuff. Kumail Nanjiani, fantastic. I think like Hollywood's really taking a liking to him now. I feel like he's about to be in like a whole bunch of shit. And good for him, man. He's super charming, super likable, always kills it. It was a little it did feel a little like Disney-fied though, you know, when he was like, I was a good guy all along, instead of just like kind of being a shit You know what I mean? Like, instead of just being like a guy who's trying to survive, which I thought that they were going to do. I'm sorry if this, I feel like my stream of consciousness is very scattered right now. But, anyways, when he first gets to that planet and that like teenage girl's like selling him drugs and he was just like, or trying to sell him drugs, and he's just like, I'm looking for a girl, like someone like, you know, a daughter, but my daughter or someone's daughter. And she's just like, dude, I used to be someone's daughter once too. Just like, take this powder and you'll forget that ever happened, bro. And I was just like, damn, okay, all right. So we got, we're actually like depicting like a cutthroat planet. Like, all right, I'm into this. And then so when you get to Kumail Nanjiani, I thought it was going to be a little more like fun push and pull with that. But then he ended up just being like a good guy all along. And I was a little disappointed in that. Not that I didn't hate it, but I was just like, can you just kind of like let him stay a little bit shitty? Like, for fuck's sake, he's trying to like survive in the underground. Like, you know, he's got to look out for himself and do what he's got to do, but that's fine, whatever. Was this is this when we first got is this when we first got Darth Vader? No. Okay, yeah, no. He's rescuing Liz. Sorry, I'm like trying to remember the chain of events and it's already blurring together. Because like I remember episode 1, I really, really liked. Episode 2, I like didn't like so much. And then episode 3, it was a little bit better. I liked that chick from Game of Thrones. There was like the Darth Vader introduction, and then episode 4 was fucking terrible. But anyways, so yes, moving right along, we have some more like Riva interrogation, intimidation stuff. They keep like, I just don't feel like in episodes 2 and 3 specifically, when they're kind of alluding more to her, like her motivations, which is kind of like purely based in insecurity, like trying to get what she's owed, trying to climb the ladder, trying to be the one that like gives Darth Vader like what he wants and stand out above the crowd. Like she wants power, she wants retribution, all that shit. Like, they're starting to reveal more of that, but not enough in a way where it's like painting a picture of someone that I can recognize and that feels like a real person. And so I felt like they kind of got there, but again, just didn't, like, whatever. They get to that one planet. Oh yeah, well, now we're gonna go back to setting criticisms. Then we get to that one planet where they're trying to get off world, and that was just California. Like, I grew up in Southern California, and I was just like, yep, that's every dusty ass hill in Southern California. And he's like, this was once a beautiful planet. I was like, this doesn't feel like a planet at all. This literally feels like the dusty underside of a shitty hill off the freeway in Southern California. You just like put a few stormtroopers in it, and they're like, a planet. I'm like, there's no like, and I think they keep trying to like make up for it in this show by doing like a throwaway line like, oh, it used to be beautiful once, now it's like super desolate. And I'm like, okay, well, it's like it still looks like shit. And also, like, I feel like they use like the same places over and over again. I mean, I know they do that in terms of like filming in Atlanta and stuff, but like in The Mandalorian, or was it Boba? No, it was Mandalorian when he like rescues Grogu. I feel like that was the same dusty ass hill. Like, it just like, it doesn't feel like a new world or outer space. Like, it just feels very boring and recognizable. Heard it looks like Bakersfield. Yeah, I was just in Bakersfield for a week, and you're not wrong. And I don't know. I guess I just have higher expectations for something with as much lore and as much money as Star Wars. Like, you know, just like talking about, like, I just thought about, like, you know, the way that Denis Villeneuve, who was the director of Dune, was talking about Dune, where he just like, I wanted these places to not be like recognizable, to feel like another world, to feel like another time. And you just get that by like the setting and the architecture and the structures around you. Like, we're like, this is sci-fi, baby, let's go. And I feel like Star Wars has been kind of cheaping out on that a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. So it was not great. And the volume sucks at second stream bar. Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like, the volume is really weird. It feels really quiet. It just like, there's a lot of things that feel like money and editing or like producing even was not done very well. But whatever. I actually am still enjoying the show, surprisingly, despite all of these things. I promise I do like this show. And then oh, and then we got Vader. So I'm pretty happy with this, with the Vader presence in this show so far, because one of the things that I like the most about whenever Darth Vader shows up, like he is the terrifying villain that is almost more of a myth than an actual man, right? And any kind of gratuitous presence or dialogue or like antics from him feels very, it feels gratuitous. That's what I'm trying to say, because he does so much more terrifying in his restraint and just like the things that the very pointed and limited ways that he does, because of the immense power and the immense he doesn't have to be crazy. Like, he doesn't have to be this crazy unhinged villain. Like, he's just like, no one can come up to me, and so it's terrifying. Like, you just know that you don't know when he's going to make like a fatal decision, but if you know that if he does, like, you're fucked and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I think that was something that was actually really, really, really done super fucking well in Rogue One, which is probably like my favorite Star Wars thing ever. Like, I think I've talked about this a million times. I love Rogue One so much, and I think the way they portrayed his kind of almost like stoic, terrifying demeanor was just like, mwah, chef's kiss. And I feel like they carried that on in this show as well, which I really enjoyed. He's a man of few words, he's a man of few actions, but those actions, goddamn. And him just like walking through the city, just like running a train to just kind of, lure out Obi Wan, fucking just killing all these randos and just like dragging old ladies in the street. And just, I was like, holy shit. I was like, oh my God, yes, Vader, baby, let's go. Then we had some really weird running scenes with Obi Wan. Again, the speed and the movement and the framing of a lot of the action scenes are very weird. Luckily, I feel like the tone, of the entire sequence was strong enough to make up for like those just running through. I don't know. The setting is so weird. It's like so cheap and it's so weird. But yeah, dude. And then their final fight, I did like that it wasn't this immediate battle. It was more just of a re-meeting of two men that have a very checkered history and a lot of things unsaid and a lot of things unfinished. And it wasn't, here we're going to have our final, like, our rematch. It was like, no, I just want to fucking see you and be like, fuck you. And then like, he was just like, I just want to see you and like see it for myself. And so it was just this almost tragic re-meeting, and he's just like holding his lightsaber like flashlight, like he's not even using it. He's just like so scared and just like so like fucking having a panic attack like right in the middle of it. And then you could just tell that this is all this like pent up hate and resentment and energy from Anakin, where he's just like, I've been dreaming of burning you alive forever. Like, I'm gonna make you suffer like you made me suffer. And he's like, but it's not, I'm not, like, I got all the time in the world, baby. This is just step one. Like, I'll find you. You think I can't fucking find you? I can sense you. Like, we're going to do this dance for a while, because it's one of the only joys in my life is thinking about all the ways I can hunt you down and fuck with you. And so I thought that was very, very powerful, very, very sad. Again, just the whole relationship and downfall between Obi-Wan and Anakin is like so. It's the one that opens me up the most. That like even that I can tell that I'm being just like a Star Wars simp and not being like objective. Like every time it's like Obi-Wan and Anakin, I'm just like, like I'm right back in it, and like I don't care what it is. I'm there, and so that was definitely one of those moments. I think the chick from Game of Thrones, the one who's playing Tala, she's doing good so far. Again, not anything super new or super special, but this is when we start going into very, very terrible territory. So I'm going to kind of regroup. I'm going to look at my notes and see if I missed anything before I start going in on episode 4. Because, guys, I have a lot of fucking feelings about episode 4. Like, that was. I'm so disappointed. Yeah, one of the things I also love is because that I forgot to mention when I was talking about Vivian Blair, it's like little Leia. It's very hard to hold your own against a very strong actor, and you can tell. I don't know if you can watch a scene, right, where you have like an A-list Oscar-winning actor, which is like an extra or like an up-and-coming. Like you can tell. Sometimes you can see the experience, right? And not everyone can like someone will totally get outshined in a scene, right? So being able to like hold your own with a very, very talented actor is very difficult. And I've just been very, very moved, very, very touched by like the chemistry Vivian Blair and Ewan McGregor have together. I think it's really, really endearing. It honestly is like the emotional core of the show, and I think it's very grounding, and I think it's super solid. There's a lot of like really sweet lines that are very powerful in the show, like when he's just like in that cart with her and he's like, sometimes when I look at her, I see her mother's face, and I was just like, oh my God. And like explaining to her what like the Force is like. The Force, feels like turning the light on. It's just like all these super, super sweet moments. And like she's so like fun and like, childlike and like, carefree, and just like, she's the sweet, ignorant naivete of a child, that untarnished spirit against just like the broken man it's a beautiful dynamic, and I really, really like it. And then yeah, okay, that's basically it so far on the show. And then we can kind of get into episode 4. So, I mean, sound off in the chat. I mean, I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. Guys, I think I'm getting better at like reading the chat and doing the stream at the same time. Are you proud of me? It seems from the most part that a lot of people like this show. I'm in the same boat. I'm very into it. I'm excited for every week. Even with like all the, poor execution, all that stuff, I still think it's a really solid show with a lot of potential. And so with TV, like new TV that I'm actually looking forward to, it was really sad. I was like genuinely sad last night watching episode 4. Like it was so bad. And like I'm going to put in a poll in the chat. Wait. Poll's not working. God damn it. Okay. It's because another one's running. Whatever. Where do I even begin? Or maybe should I just like... okay. I like the show so far. Episode 1, great. Episode 2, not so great. Episode 3, okay. Episode 4, fucking terrible. And I'm really hoping that they work it out or salvage it by in episodes 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. I know Ewan McGregor was like, there's gonna be episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woohoo! Later, good night at the Star Wars celebration. So who knows if that's true? If it is true, good thing, because man, that was just so disappointing. Like, there's a lot of things in this show that I feel like it feels like they're going to really go somewhere new or try something risky or tell a new kind of story. And then like, God, they just fall back on their haunches, which is, I don't know if Star Wars will ever not do that. I really, really don't, because every time they've strayed from the path or tried to take a risk or tried to do something new, like the shitty ass fandom has just like eviscerated them and been so hypercritical that they're just like scared to do anything interesting. But man, it's like, and you can recycle some storylines. Like, I'm not saying you can't recycle any storylines. There are some things that work, and with new characters and with good writing and good execution, like that's fine. Like you can like almost like pay homage or like, you know, go off of the like emotional beats that were already created. But like this was such a disappointing, like like horrible redundancy of just classic, you know, the classic Star Wars Imperial base rescue, but like the worst one I've ever seen. I think this was the worst like Imperial base, Imperial ship infiltration rescue mission that I have ever seen. It didn't make any fucking sense. Like, am I crazy, guys? Like, it didn't make any fucking sense. Like, I like make it make sense, because from the very beginning, I just was so disappointed. You know, they're on this whatever underground railroad again. Told this story a million fucking times. Oh, I can't help you. Oh, but just kidding, I will. They go, and then like they, of course, like I said, they're doing those like throwaway lines to make up for shitty content where he's like, oh, what about the defenses? Like, well, no one would dare to go there, so they don't have any defenses, so we're good. Which is just like the worst premise ever, because it's like, if literally the entire plan is to like draw Obi-Wan out with Leia, wherever she is, he'll go. So wouldn't they be waiting for him? And it's like they're also hiding all the Jedi down there, so it seems like a pretty, they wouldn't have any radars, they wouldn't have any defense. Like that's just, that is fucking inane. That is so stupid. That is such poor writing, I cannot believe at the place that Star Wars is at right now, with literally like over 50 fucking years of being a franchise, with all the extended universe content that they have that's not canon, but they fucking have it, all the video games they've done, all the comics, all the books, that is like the plan they came up with. Like I was like, it was such a waste of space. I'm like, I could wait, like I wish they had just never done it. Like I wish they had literally just said like, just did like a jump cut to him already getting Leia back and said like how they did it, instead of making me watch that, because it was so fucking stupid. Like, so whatever, they get in there, really thin premise, classic of like, you know, sneaking in that doesn't really make any sense. It's just like, how are these Imperial bases like so poorly ran, and why is it so easy to infiltrate it in, whatever. Then you have like those horrible scenes with Moses Ingram and Vivian Blair. Like it was hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking hard to watch. And I get it, like child torture is a very hard thing to stomach, and if that's what they were gonna do, they should have just alluded to it, like, you know, her coming out of the room talking about it, as opposed, and like being like, she's not gonna talk, she said like she doesn't know anything, tried to use the Force on her, it didn't work, blah blah blah, so we don't actually have to see the torture. But like, oh my god, the writing in it was so bad. Again, and talking about small spaces in this weird tiny room where they're like filming from, like it felt like a shitty conference room in like an office building that was, I don't know. It's just setting bad, writing bad, even acting bad. Like it was just so hard to watch, so shitty. I couldn't believe that they even left that in there. Like how any producers or editors didn't like put their foot down and was like, let's just cut this whole bit. Like it's not working. Like it's. Like, oh my god, I can't. Like it was so horrible. And with like the Deus Ex Machina shit at the end when she's about to get like razors in her eyes, whatever. You know what I would have rather have done? I would have rather cut that whole thing, cut this whole episode altogether, but especially cut those scenes. I don't understand Reva. Her character doesn't make any sense. Like, her character doesn't have a purpose right now. I would have rather used that time to learn more about her than I would have watching this horrible, like, break and release, shitty plan that they came up with. Because it's like, you can spend an entire episode on, like, an action sequence and on a... God, what is the word I'm looking for? On a... like a heist, like kind of like a heist sequence. You can spend a whole episode on that if it's fucking dope. You know, like if it looks great, the action's great, if it's dynamic, if it's got like a really creative like director who's like doing all these cool things, you can totally do that. But this was not it. This was like them scraping together the worst ideas possible to get from point A to point B. So it's like, why even have this episode? I would have rather learned about Reva, and you know, instead of us watching her have these stupid ass conversations with little Leia, which were just like the worst interrogation I've ever seen in my life. Like, aren't these inquisitors, aren't these like the best of the best? Haven't they been doing this for like how long? It's been like 10 years, right? Like 10 fucking years, and they like can't even like I don't know, worst interrogation ever. Instead of seeing that, I would have rather have had like seen her alluding to her torturing Leia, and then like maybe having flashbacks of like her getting tortured when she was first like captured as a young Jedi, or when she was starting out with the Empire, and like all the shit that she went to that was probably very similar to what she was going to do to Leia. Like she was inflicting what was like done to her. I would have loved to see a flashback of that, and so that would like, you know, so you would get to know her, she would be a more impelling and intriguing villain. Like I want to like her. We're spending so much time with her. Like, fuck, dude, like give me a fucking bone. But man, yeah, like they should have fucking cut all of those sequences. I cannot believe they left those in. But I mean, going back to, you know, the little heist, is heist even the right word for what I'm trying to say? The little heist that they were doing, Obi-Wan and Tala. First things first, the whole no radar, no sensors, like no defenses is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. The base actually looked really nice. I will say that. I'll give them that. As far as settings go, this is probably one of the better ones. And I'm sure they have a lot of like old Star Wars sets that they can like repaint and restructure. So this was actually like a good set, and it looked good. It physically looked good. But one, their little handheld speaker things, I was like, why you guys don't like, I'm sorry, like and maybe some Star Wars historian help me, maybe like Star Wars SEOG, like, do earpieces exist in the Star Wars canon? Because I would assume if you can crack light speed travel, you can crack an earpiece. And like, man, these like out loud like walkie talkies they were using were fucking killing me. There are all these like, she's just like walking through the space, doing whatever, like knocking people out, not getting caught. And then we get to these like fight scenes, and the fight scenes, I about fucking lost it. I about fucking lost it. Like he's like in that like tiny little hallway, like fighting off like 8 stormtroopers with just his lightsaber from both sides. And it's just like, yeah, he's a Jedi, but it's like even the whole point of like executing Order 66 is like, even though Jedis could like, you know, one Jedi equals like fucking, I don't know, 100 stormtroopers. You can like they could be the worst shots in the world, but like, what is that idiom? You know, you throw enough tomatoes at the wall and something's gonna stick. You guys know what idiom I'm talking about. I don't know what idiom I'm trying to say, but something's gonna hit. Like if you have 8 people shooting at one guy, even if he's the coolest fucking dopest dude in the universe, something's gonna hit in a tiny hallway without any other distractions. Like no one else shooting at them. He's not even shooting at them. He's just defending himself. I wish they wouldn't have even brought in that many people. It didn't make any fucking sense. Leia's not getting hit at all. And then in this like really important fortress, like they keep like making it known that this is like a really, 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 like really, really important Empire fortress that they just don't defend because like who would attack them? It's like, first of all, bitch, like so many people, like what are you talking about? Like so many people would attack. Your own people would attack. Isn't that the whole point of the Sith, is that people within their own order are always like trying to one up each other? That's what the whole rule of 2 thing even like existed, because like they just like can't fucking help themselves. They're always trying to social climb. Like of course someone would try to attack, or some shady shit would happen, or Obi-Wan is following Leia everywhere. Why would the fuck wouldn't Obi-Wan come? Like why would it? Whatever. What the fuck ever. Like I got so mad I lost my oh yes, the super important base, right? Is underwater, and the structural integrity of it can be compromised by one errant laser blast. Like what? Like fucking what? Like and I like make it make sense, guys. Like make it make fucking sense. Like yeah, and then it's just god, and then like the water rushing in and he just like fucking apparently he is the Flash now. And he sprinted out of that room, didn't even get like, caught in the torrent whatsoever. But it didn't make any fucking sense. What is it? When he needed a distraction, she just like, yeah. And then like when he needed a distraction, she didn't even like create a distraction. She just like went to Reva herself. And then I was like, what? And then like, and then there's just like two stormtroopers there, and then like Reva leaves the room with one other person, and then Tala's left alone after she like very obviously is like a suspicious person, and then so like Tala was just able to like bitch slap these stormtroopers to death. Like truly, what are these, like I don't know what their armor does, but apparently it doesn't prevent you from a bitch slap to knock you unconscious. I know she like yanked one of them under their like helmet and like hit it, but like I mean, has anyone fallen off their bike with a helmet on? Like they usually work pretty whatever, what the fuck ever. And then, oh my god, when they got to the hangar, and then he was just doing the like two kids standing on each other's shoulders wearing a top hat and a trench coat as like a disguise. I was like, I cannot handle this. I can't handle this. And then when those two speeders came in, undetected, of course, because who would dare? Like who would dare attack an Empire base? And they're just fucking shooting the fuck out of everyone in this hangar, and no one's shooting back. Not one person. There's no guns on this base because, of course, no one would dare. I don't know if you guys know this, but like no one would dare attack that base. So it's like, why would they need defensive guns on somewhere where they're hiding literally just like seemed like hundreds of Jedi? No one shoots back. They just like get away. I mean, I guess one guy's plane blows up. Who, I mean, I could have seen that coming from a mile away, but just. Man. And like Darth Vader was there, right? Like, am I crazy? Like that scene between him and Reva was on that. I don't know if he like arrived, but I'm pretty sure he was there. And like, wouldn't he be able to sense Obi-Wan's arrival and or just fucking fuck all those dudes up? I don't know. It didn't make sense, you guys. I'm sorry. That was like a really angry rant. But as a show that I was like pleasantly surprised by, to see such a fucking shit show as episode 4, it was very upsetting. It was very, very upsetting. Like I can suspend my disbelief up to a point, but if like you won't even obey like the rules of logic, like within your own creation, like what are we doing here? I was very disappointed in Deborah Chow. She did so good in the first episode, and then man oh man I hope they come back from it, because I actually am really enjoying the show. So I really want to see them come hard in these last few episodes, but it was such a waste of space. Like there was so much more they could have done, and it's like, and I also don't understand why they're also just doing these like 6-episode things. Like do more. Like if you don't have the money to do 6 shitty episodes, just like I don't know. It just feels like a lot of filler bullshit. Anyways, I'm done with my rant. Okay, I'll start wrapping this up. I'll look in the chat. 7 super chats. We can call it a day. I can't believe I talked about it I thought this was going to be like a 30-minute stream because there's only been like a couple episodes. There's not that much to say about it, but I guess it has been a while, so I just can't help running my mouth off. Classic me. Oh yeah, I forgot Miss Marvel came out today. I need to watch that. There's so much content. There's Miss Marvel. There's The Boys. There's... What else is there? It's coming out soon. Thor's in July or August, right? Sandman's coming out. So much stuff. So many things to watch. I'm actually Miss Marvel was good. I really enjoyed it. Okay, I'm excited. It seems like a bunch of you are really feeling Miss Marvel so far. So okay, good. And I love good content. I'm sad. I'm so sick of being disappointed. um. Um. That's interesting, James Bunn. As much as I enjoyed most of the Star Wars TV, I really feel Star Wars should be about important events, not side stories. Yeah, I don't know. Would you would you classify Rogue One as an important event? Because that was kind of also like a heist movie too, and like a bit of a side story, and that was like one of the fucking greatest Star Wars stories ever told. So, um, they had better, Mr. Anderson, they had better communication devices 15 years ago within the lore. I know, right? Like, I was like, am I crazy? Or is this like always been the thing in Star Wars technology? Like, they have to use walkie-talkies when they need to be silent. When she's literally she's sitting right next to someone else using a computer, just being like, Obi Wan or Ben, where are you? I'm like, are you fucking kidding? How did the Empire take over the galaxy with such incompetent soldiers, Dr. Adam? Yeah, great question. Great fucking question. Because they really do making these guys look like total fools, total idiots, which is like, that's not fun. You don't want the antagonist, the enemy to just be total doofuses. You want to put up a good fight. J Slide 805 there needs a stiff drink, make it a double. Maybe I do. Just get out all that anger I found about episode 4. Jeez. Why do they have windows in the evil underwater base? Also a great question. It's like, I feel like they have stronger windows at like the aquarium. Like, don't they have that like double paned, bulletproof, extra corrugated, whatever the fuck, glass? It's like, if you want to watch with the wildlife, wouldn't you be prepared? Mr. Anderson, you can sense him in the Bacta tank, interplanetary even, but no, not on the same ship. My God, dude. It like, please, like, make it make sense. Maybe Vader cut himself off from the Force. Everyone's doing it these days. I don't think so. He needs that shit. Random theory based on absolutely nothing. A random theory from Dr. Random. Reva was brought to the Jedi Temple as a youngling by Obi-Wan. I'm guessing something along those lines, because she's like obsessed with him and she's like, I'm getting what I'm owed. So, but again, I wish they would drop more like Easter eggs of that within the last couple episodes, and then I'm sure they're going to have like some big reveal in the last episode, but I would have liked to warm to her and her story throughout the show instead of just like bombing it on me at the end. Second Street Marvel. I can't make it through The Boys. Just didn't tickle my fancy. I haven't made it past 3rd episode of season 1. Okay, you guys. Second Street Marvel. I am with you so hard, and I think I was going to do a Boys mid-season recap, like on Friday or Saturday. But I don't know. I think I might have to put it off because like my feelings are pretty negative and I want to give the show a chance, because I love the like Boys season 1 is fucking excellent television. Season 1 is fucking excellent television. Season 2 was not so good. I actually did a pretty good breakdown of The Boys season 1 and 2 on my YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. You're here already, so if you just want to click over, you can check it out. But so I had really high hopes for season 3 to kind of like bring it back to like the magic of what season 1 was. But yeah, I'm like, it got to a point where I was like watching it with Dan and I was like, I feel like I'm just being a bitch right now. Like, I feel like I'm just being like a sourpuss, like watching this show, because I was getting like really annoyed watching it. Like, it was hard to watch and it was hard. Like, the writing is so bad. The writing is so bad. So I'm hoping it does like an uptick, and maybe I can give a more like nuanced review once more of it comes out. So I don't know. New episodes come out on Fridays, right? So maybe I'll see how this next episode is, and then maybe stream on Saturday about it. But I do want to stream about it maybe when I don't have like just like completely negative things to say. Spoiler alert, if you're wondering what my boys review is going to be like. Her one event was how they got the plans of the Death Star. I didn't like most of the characters though. How dare you, James Bond? How dare you? K2SO? I mean, come on. Every Empire base has at least one totally exploitable design flaw, 100%. Which is like, again, when we go back in time, right? When we don't move forward and tell news stories, when we keep backpedaling and like you're doing, you know, like the retcon nightmare, and they just keep making the Empire look so stupid and so bad. It's just like, it kind of ruins it for me. I'm like, it takes away from the like mystique and the menacing quality, the menacing, scary quality of the Empire. Because I'm like, they're fucking morons. Like, look at all this dumb shit they've got. It's just, I don't think it lends itself to the strength of the franchise when they do shit like that. TBN is. Yeah. James Bond. Disney has a thing about keeping their villains' motives who are the real villain until the end as a twist and surprise. And I think it hurts the story. I am with you, bro. 100% on that. Like in most good stories, the villain should almost be just as important as the main character, or they're only a set piece, right? Like if they're not important and they're only a set piece for the protagonist to interact with, that's fine. But like if you're gonna spend that much time with them and you don't lend any value to their presence, it's just a drag. It is a fucking drag. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning in. So wait, let's do some, throw it in the chat. What do you guys want to hear about the most in, oh, I did also wear my Darth Vader, I don't know, my Darth Vader Obi Wan Kenobi shirt for the stream. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did. What do you guys want to hear the most about in the next upcoming weeks? Lightyear's coming out too. Everyone is very hyped for Lightyear, and I don't really get it. I mean, it's a good trailer and stuff, but I'm very surprised by how hyped people are for this movie. So I can talk about that one, talk about the boys, I can talk about Miss Marvel. What does everybody want to hear about the most, or what is everybody excited about the most excited for? There we go. I know how to speak English. And yeah, kind of build out this schedule. I did take a little bit of a break in the last couple of weeks, but as I told you before, on my last stream, I kind of wanted to not stream for the sake of streaming. I wanted to stream when there was actually something to talk about. Now there's all this shit to talk about, so I will be back. And I just been gone a lot in the last couple of weeks. It was like my best friend's birthday, 30th birthday, so it was the big one. And then I went to this music festival where I had like no cell reception for like 5 days, and then I've been having a lot of problems with my like shoulder and neck that I'm gonna have to probably get surgery on in a couple months. And going to dance in the desert for 5 days did not do it well. So when I came back from the festival, I was laid the fuck out for like a week. It was pretty painful. Yes, stars, I see you, OG. That is what I called like the two kids sitting on each other's shoulders with like a trench coat on. That is like what that reminded me of. The boys for sure from Emojo. Miss Marvel, James Butt, Miss Marvel. Okay, we got 2 for Miss Marvel. Yeah, you know what? I'll watch Miss Marvel, come back to you guys with it. I think I'm gonna give the boys a little more time. And oh, thank you. Miss Marvel is my jam porter. Okay, all right. Mike Porter is now Mike. Ms. Marvel is my jam. Porter. Wow, you're riding hard. Okay, you're exciting me. You're really riding for Ms. Marvel. Okay, I'm going to watch it. You've convinced me by changing your screen name, and thank you for the super chat. I'm very much appreciated. All right, you guys. I'm gonna call it a night. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for tuning in. I will catch you either later this week or next week. Yeah.